You are not my daughter tonight, my father snapped into the microphone, smiling at their anniversary guests. My mother leaned close and whispered, You embarrassed us at 19. Don't do it again. The room went silent. I could hear the soft clink of glasses and the faint hum of the air conditioner above us. Then my phone started ringing in my hand. I looked down at the screen and my stomach dropped. The caller ID changed everything. My name is Danielle Harper and I'm 31 years old. I'm an ER nurse in one of the busiest hospitals in the city. People tell me I'm calm in chaos. They say I have steady hands and a steady voice. I guess that happens when you've seen blood on white tiles at 3 in the morning and had to keep breathing like it's just another shift. But 11 years ago I was not calm. I was the daughter who shamed her family. When I was 19 I chose nursing school over the business degree my parents demanded. They said caring for strangers was low status. My older brother was the one they always praised. He wore suits at 20. He talked about stocks at dinner. He was their future. I was the one who asked questions and talked about helping people. I wasn't rich or glamorous. I didn't wear designer dresses or talk about investments. But I had something they didn't expect. I had resilience. And I had a memory that never forgets humiliation. The night they kicked me out, they told relatives I was unstable. That I had issues. I remember the smell of my mother's perfume in the hallway while she stood with her arms crossed. I remember my father holding the door open like I was a stranger. I slept in my car for 2 weeks. I worked double shifts as a CNA to pay tuition. I never asked them for help again. And I never forgot the way they smiled while closing the door on me. If you've ever been told you were embarrassing just for chasing your own dream, I see you. If you know what it feels like to build your life without family support, subscribe. Drop a comment if you had to prove them wrong quietly. And click hype if you believe resilience always wins. Scope. It started at a family dinner 11 years ago. The table was full. Roast chicken. Crystal glasses. My aunt visiting from out of town. I cleared my throat and said, I got accepted into the nursing program at Westbridge. My father's fork hit the plate hard. The sound cut through the room. So you want to clean up after people? That's your ambition. My mother gave a tight smile. We didn't raise her to be average. My brother laughed. Guess someone has to be the family disappointment. I felt heat crawl up my neck. It's a competitive program, I said. It's what I want. You're ruining our image, my father said. Do you know what people will say? Then came the ultimatum. Switch to business, he said. Or leave this house. I looked at my mother. She didn't blink. I said, I'm not switching. Then you're not living here, he replied. They packed my bags that same night. My brother stood by the stairs watching like it was a show. By the next week, relatives were calling asking why I ran away. I hadn't run. I had been pushed. The last thing my mother said to me was, Don't come back until you're someone we're proud of. What they didn't know was that one day I would become exactly what they needed. The years after that were quiet and cold. Holidays came and went without invitations. I would see photos online of my family around the table. Matching outfits. Perfect smiles. I wasn't in a single frame. A cousin once texted me, It's better if you don't come. It keeps the peace. At a distant relative's wedding, I showed up anyway. My father introduced me to a group of guests. This is our rebellious one. She does hospital work. They gave me polite smiles. The kind you give someone you feel sorry for. I held my chin up and said, Yes. I save lives. No one laughed after that. Then came the manipulation. My brother's startup failed after 2 years. Suddenly my phone rang one evening. My mother's voice was soft. We just need a little help. Until things recover. There was no apology. No mention of the night I slept in my car. Just expectation. I can't, I said gently. You owe us for raising you, she replied. That was the moment I understood. To them I was only useful when convenient. While they played image games, I worked. I studied. I trained. I earned my trauma certification. I stood in operating rooms while machines beeped around me. I built respect in my field. I became someone my patients trusted with their lives. What they didn't know was that the chief of medicine at my hospital, Dr. Evelyn Grant, had taken me under her wing. She saw something in me early on. After a brutal night shift, she once handed me a cup of coffee and said, You belong anywhere your skill takes you. She had influence. Real influence. Medical boards. City leadership. People listened when she spoke. I never told my family how close we became. I had a plan they never saw coming. Not revenge. Just boundaries backed by power. When my father's health started declining quietly, I knew before they did how serious it could become. And I was closer to the rooms where decisions were made than they ever imagined. Dr. Grant became more than a boss. She was guidance. Protection. She knew my family's story. One afternoon in her office, with the soft ticking of the wall clock behind us, she said, "You don't owe cruelty your loyalty." Meanwhile, my parents planned their 40th anniversary celebration. A big event. Local business leaders. Catered food. Speeches about family success. I received an invitation 3 days before the party. It felt like an afterthought. A prop for the family photo. They assumed I would show up quietly. Smile. Blend in. Earlier that same week, my father collapsed at home. He was admitted to our hospital. I was on shift when the attending physician reviewed his chart. Complications were serious. The doctor looked at me and said, "We may need immediate consent if this worsens." I nodded. I already knew what was in his file. Back at the anniversary party, my father stood at the front of the room boasting about legacy. My mother gave a speech about unity and reputation. The guests clapped politely. Then my phone rang in my hand. I answered. I listened. My expression did not change. A few minutes later, the doors at the back of the venue opened. Dr. Grant walked in. Calm. Professional. She approached the stage. "Mr. Harper's procedure requires immediate consent from next of kin," she announced clearly. The room went still. My mother looked confused. "Next of kin is me," she said quickly. Dr. Grant shook her head. "According to the signed documents from his last surgery, medical power of attorney is assigned to Danielle Harper." Gasps. Whispers. My mother leaned toward me. "Why would he list you?" I looked at her. "Because when it mattered, I showed up." My brother stepped forward. "This is ridiculous. I'm his son." Dr. Grant's voice turned firm. "The legal authority is clear." I walked up beside her. I felt steady. Confident. "You said don't come back until you're someone you're proud of," I told my parents. "I did. Just not for you." Dr. Grant put my father on speaker from the hospital. His voice was weak but clear. "She's the only one I trust in a crisis." Their perfect image cracked right there under the bright lights. I signed the consent forms calmly. Not for revenge. Not to prove a point. But because it was the right thing to do. Then I left before the applause or the whispers could turn into drama. Later, my parents tried to talk. They spoke about mistakes. About misunderstandings. I listened. I set boundaries. I told them I would not accept disrespect again. I don't seek validation anymore. I don't need their pride to feel worthy. They tried to erase me at 19. At 31, I saved them without losing myself. Have you ever been called an embarrassment for choosing your own path? Did someone try to shame your dreams in front of others? Share your story in the comments. I want to know how you proved them wrong. Subscribe if you're building success quietly. And click hype to help this story reach others who need it. Your story has power. If you felt a connection to mine, please subscribe and share your journey in the comments. Every hype you give this video helps empower someone else. Thank you for being here and for listening.